The 2008 Comprehensive Plan, Part 2, Defining the Sense of Place, Policy Objectives, and an introspective look at what failure to implement the plan would mean. Part 1 of the review of the 2008 Comprehensive Plan covered the opening sections of the plan, including the 2007 Community Assessment, Introduction and Future Character Areas. Part 2 will go through the community objectives, policy, and an introspective look at what it would mean to fail to create that sense of place that has been a recurring theme throughout these foundation-setting documents. The next section of the plan focuses on community objectives. There are two worth highlighting. Section 2.3, Sense of Place, since that's been a recurring discussion point throughout, and Section 2.12, Housing Choices, since the variety of housing choices was minimal in 2008. Quote, 2.3, Sense of Place. Traditional downtown areas should be maintained as the focal point of the community, or, for newer areas where this is not possible, the development of activity centers that serve as community focal points should be encouraged. These community focal points should be attractive, mixed use, pedestrian-friendly places where people choose to gather for shopping, dining, socializing, and entertainment. The city of Sugar Hill contains a number of unique features that add to the city's sense of place. Close proximity to the Chattahoochee River, exceptional recreation services, and activities as well as a popular golf course contribute to the city's identity. A revitalization effort in the town center district and the redevelopment of a vibrant downtown would give the citizens a desirable image to associate with the city of Sugar Hill. Strengths. The city already contains a significant amount of unique features. Unique natural resources add to the city's sense of place. Needs. There is a need for revitalization in the town center district. The city needs to develop and implement a marketing plan for Sugar Hill and the activities available in the area. End quote. The sense of place continues to put emphasis on a vibrant downtown, creating a community focal point. It describes it as an attractive, mixed-use, pedestrian-friendly place with places to shop, dine, socialize, and be entertained. This follows on the town center district character area described in Part 1 of this look at the 2008 plan. The notable portion of Section 2.12, Housing Choices, is the selected quote. This quote is, of course, in contrast to the expressed desires of the majority regarding housing choices. However, that's understandable given that the city was expected to grow, and did, as it had for the previous 70 years of its existence. Quote 2.12, Housing Choices. A range of housing size, cost, and density should be provided in each community to make it possible for all who work in the community to also live in the community, thereby reducing commuting distance. To promote a mixture of income and age groups in each community, and to provide a range of housing choice to meet market needs. End quote. Moving into Section 4, Policies, right off the bat, we move into economic development. Policy is, of course, the bailiwick of mayor and council, so it should be the primary focus of their duty to implement. As for economic development, most of the 2008 plan centered around the city's best opportunity for economic development, downtown. And we specifically mentioned the discouragement of strip retail. Quote 4.2, Policies. The implementation strategies identified in this section include a list of policies that the City of Sugar Hill will consider when making land use and zoning decisions. The purpose of the State Planning Act is for comprehensive plans to be developed, implemented, and actively utilized by local governments. The policies will provide a guidance to local officials to assure that future decisions reflect the community vision as defined in the agenda. The policies listed below were established based on conclusions drawn from the community assessment and issues identified during the public participation process. 4.2.1 Economic Development. Main objective. Future economic development in Sugar Hill calls for a viable plan that promotes stable residential neighborhoods, downtown revitalization, and regional commercial development along the Buford Highway, State Route 20, and Peachtree Industrial Boulevard corridor. More specifically, the city will work to enhance downtown with cultural activities and neighborhood businesses that attract people and tourism. The city will also continue to encourage business industrial development to support the needs of current residents and the city's tax base. Policies to encourage economic development include support programs that promote recruitment and retention of appropriate businesses in the commercial character areas, seek new commercial business development consistent with a future development strategy, support infill development, redevelopment, and restoration projects in the downtown area that are consistent with the future development strategy, support the efforts of the Downtown Development Authority, support the development of the Town Center District in accordance with the recommendations of the LCI Plan, discourage strip commercial development along local highway corridors, and encourage small-scale, retail and service-oriented commercial development in commercial nodes near residential neighborhoods." End quote. Following on the housing policy side, the comp plan correctly predicts the future of Sugar Hill. It acknowledges that a variety of housing options will be required, provide for adequate housing stock, encouraging home ownership, support pedestrian-friendly residential development, and support a mixed-use development in appropriate areas, i.e. downtown, are all admirable policy decisions that mayors and councils have been promoting since 2008. Quote 4.2.4, housing. Main objective: the city will provide various housing options to meet the needs of current and future residents. The city of Sugar Hill is projected to see a significant shift in population mix. A variety of housing options will be required if the city is to accommodate the changing population. The policies and implementation strategies will help the city promote desirable residential developments that provide a mix of housing options. End quote. In Section 4.2.6, Transportation, the city took a position that, in particular in 2008 in the suburbs, was roundly anathema in prior suburban planning, consideration for movement outside the personal vehicle. Quote 4.2.6, Transportation. Main objective: the city will increase the availability of alternate forms of transportation and create a pedestrian-friendly network of movement in the city. Better connection between existing neighborhoods and within new neighborhoods is a priority for future development. The goal is to create an environment within the city that is more pedestrian-oriented and less automobile-oriented. Pedestrian paths, multi-use trails, bike lanes, etc. are all components of this vision. The city will encourage the availability of alternative transportation options. End quote. The highlighted sentence, which was, quote, "the goal is to create an environment within the city that is more pedestrian-oriented and less automobile-oriented," end quote, stood in stark contrast to traditional suburban development, that the driving consideration for any form of getting around is the personal automobile. And we wonder why we have traffic congestion. Does that mean the expectation is everyone walking everywhere? Of course not. What it does acknowledge is that building your city around the automobile rather than people is a losing strategy over the long term. Automobiles are an important tool in getting around, but it's only one tool in what should be a complete toolbox. A hammer is good for one thing only, and if that's the only tool you've got, you won't be able to actually build anything. This concluded the meat of the comp plan. However, the appendices included a number of interesting parts as well. Take, for example, this chart, showing that the city had grew in population by 250%, which is a staggering rate of growth of 25% population increase every single year between 1990 and 2000. Yet the number of people who worked in the city limits grew from just 4% to 5%. Under issues and opportunities regarding transportation, the plan acknowledges the problem with being a suburban bedroom community: traffic congestion. Quote, transportation, major trend. The existing level of service for the transportation network is poor and does not provide a useful network of roadways, connectivity, and alternative modes. Sugar Hill is a bedroom community, which creates a great deal of rush hour traffic and congestion. Highway 20 is specifically congested during peak travel hours. Currently, there is minimal opportunity for public transit. End quote. Now let's take a look at one last item in the 2008 comp plan. It's perhaps the most revealing and self-reflective portion of the entire plan. The last few pages feature a publication from January 2008 called Sugar Hill Today. This appears to be a magazine-type summary of the purpose of the plan that would have been printed and stapled in the middle. It contains some interesting reading under the Quality Community Objectives analysis, but there's a portion that deserves to be highlighted for its bluntness. The sense of place section. It could not be more on the nose if it tried. Quote, sense of place. Highlighted portion includes revitalization efforts in the town center district to create a vibrant downtown are essential for creating character and identity for the city of Sugar Hill. No action scenario. With no support for downtown revitalization, the city of Sugar Hill would evolve into another one of the numerous Metro Atlanta bedroom communities void of any unique character and serving just as a place for people employed in the Atlanta area to find reasonably priced homes. Sugar Hill currently enjoys real community spirit, and in order to foster that spirit, the community must work to create that community. Without a downtown area that has a lively mix of restaurants, shops, and activities, residents will travel to and identify with other areas that do provide that destination. End quote. In particular, let's highlight that last sentence because it succinctly and bluntly states the importance of loving where you live. Quote, without a downtown area that has a lively mix of restaurants and shops and activities, residents will travel to and identify with other areas that do provide that destination. End quote. The 2008 comprehensive plan contained a number of revelations and blunt realities that the city was facing. The plan closed its last page with a unanimous adoption of the community agenda in January 2009. Quote, City of Sugar Hill, Georgia, resolution to adopt the community agenda. Resolved this 12th day of January 2009. Gary Perkle, Mayor. Councilmember Mark Cohen. Councilmember Steve Edwards. Councilmember Susie Gajewski. Councilmember Mike Sullivan. Councilmember Nick Thompson. End quote. The 2008 comprehensive plan laid out a vision for the future of Sugar Hill as a strong community, creating a sense of place that would allow residents to love where they live.